James Kilser pulled into the fluorescent glow of the Desert Star gas station at 11:47 p.m., just another tired construction worker ending another 16-hour day in the Arizona heat. The 43-year-old former Marine had been framing houses since dawn, his calloused hands aching as he twisted the gas cap and started filling his pickup truck. What he didn't notice was the beat-up Honda Civic circling the parking lot for the third time, its 3 teenage occupants working up the courage to commit their first armed robbery. But 25 years of Marine Corps training had taught James to notice things that others missed, even when he was bone-tired and thinking about nothing except getting home to his wife and daughter. If this story grabs your attention, please hit that subscribe button and give us a like. Stories about everyday heroes like James need to be shared, and your support helps us tell these important tales. The gas pump clicked off at 47.82, and James walked into the small convenience store to pay cash and grab an energy drink for the drive home. Behind the counter stood Raj Patel, a 26-year-old immigrant from Gujarat, who had been working the night shift for 8 months to support his wife and newborn son. "How's it going tonight?" James asked, setting a Red Bull on the counter next to his crumpled $20 bills. "Quiet, thankfully," Raj replied with his slight accent. "Sometimes the late shift gets crazy with drunk people. And..." The conversation was interrupted by the electronic chime of the front door. 3 figures in hoodies entered the store, moving with the nervous energy of young men trying to look tougher than they felt. James glanced at them in his peripheral vision-old habits from 2 tours in Iraq and immediately felt something shift in his awareness. The way they spread out, the way the smallest one kept his hand inside his jacket, the way none of them were looking at the merchandise. "Everybody on the fucking ground now!" The 14-year-old with the gun, James would later learn his name was Marcus Washington, pointed a stolen .38 revolver at Raj with shaking hands. His 2 accomplices, both 15, positioned themselves near the door and the back of the store. "Empty the register, all of it!" Raj's hands flew up, his face going pale. "Please, don't hurt anyone. I have a baby." "Shut up and open the cash drawer." James stood perfectly still behind a display of motor oil, calculating distances and angles with the automatic precision of someone who had disarmed enemy combatants in Fallujah and Ramadi. The kid with the gun was maybe 5 feet away, his back partially turned, his attention focused entirely on the terrified clerk. What would you do in this situation? Try to be a hero or stay hidden and hope no one gets hurt? Let me know in the comments what you think the right choice would be. "Hurry up, man," one of the other teens hissed. "Someone's gonna see us." James noticed 3 critical details. The gun wasn't cocked, the kid's finger wasn't on the trigger, and his grip was all wrong. He was holding it like he'd learned from movies, not from any real training. But he also noticed something else. Marcus Washington was scared, really scared. The kind of scared that makes people do unpredictable things. "I'm trying," Raj said, his hands fumbling with the cash register. "The drawer is stuck. Please just..." "Don't lie to me!" Marcus screamed, stepping closer to the counter and waving the gun erratically. "Open it now, or I'll shoot you!" That's when James moved. 25 years of muscle memory kicked in. 2 quick steps brought him within arm's reach of the teenage gunman. His left hand shot out to control the weapon while his right arm wrapped around the kid's throat in a sleeper hold. The entire sequence took less than 3 seconds. Marcus never saw it coming. One moment he was pointing a gun at the store clerk, feeling powerful and dangerous. The next moment, a grown man had materialized behind him like a ghost. The weapon was gone from his hands, and everything was going black. "Guns clear," James called out calmly as Marcus went limp in his arms. "Nobody's hurt." The 2 accomplices stood frozen for a heartbeat, staring at their unconscious friend being gently lowered to the floor by a man who moved with the quiet confidence of someone who had done this before. Then they ran. James secured the revolver, checked to make sure Marcus was breathing normally, and pulled out his cell phone to call 911. "You okay?" he asked Raj, who was still standing behind the counter with his hands raised. Yes, I think so. How did you? Who are you?" "Just a customer. You can put your hands down now." "Before I continue, I need to ask, how old are you?" This story deals with some intense themes about violence and split-second decisions, and I want to make sure you're ready for what happened next. Drop your age in the comments. The Yuma police arrived 6 minutes later to find James sitting on a milk crate, keeping watch over the unconscious teenager, while Raj gave a statement in rapid, grateful Hindi to his wife over the phone. "Sir, can you tell me what happened here?" Officer Sarah Martinez asked as she surveyed the scene. "Kid came in with a gun," threatened the clerk. "I disarmed him." "You disarmed him?" "Yes, ma'am." Officer Martinez looked at Jamesa, middle-aged construction worker in work boots and a dirty t-shirt, then at Marcus, who was starting to regain consciousness with his hands zip-tied behind his back. "Sir, are you military?" "Former. Marines. 25 years. "That explains a lot. The security camera caught the whole thing. I've never seen anything like it." As Marcus came around, he looked up at James with confused, frightened eyes. "What happened? Where's my gun?" "You pointed it at the wrong person," James said quietly. "What's your name, son?" "I don't have to tell you shit." "No, you don't. But I'm trying to understand why a kid your age is robbing gas stations with a gun." Marcus didn't answer, but James could see the fear and confusion in his eyes. This wasn't a hardened criminal, this was a scared child who had made a catastrophically bad decision. The store's security footage would later show the entire encounter in stark detail. James moving with fluid precision, the gun being removed from Marcus's hands so smoothly it looked almost choreographed, the teenager collapsing without ever realizing what had happened to him. "Mr. Kilser," Officer Martinez said, reading from her notepad. "The clerk says you saved his life." "I don't know about that. Kid was scared." "Scared people make mistakes. You could have been killed. He had a loaded weapon." "Ma'am, I've been shot at by people who actually knew how to use their weapons. This was different." "What do you think should happen to 14-year-old Marcus? Should he be tried as an adult, or does he deserve a second chance? Share your thoughts in the comments. Over the next hour, James gave his statement to police, while EMTs checked Marcus for injuries from the sleeper hold. The teenager had a mild concussion, but was otherwise unharmed. "Mr. Kilser," Detective Rodriguez said, "we're going to need you to come to the station tomorrow to give a formal statement." "Of course." "And sir, we've seen the security footage. What you did was extraordinary, but also incredibly risky. Why didn't you just stay hidden until it was over?" James was quiet for a moment, thinking about how to explain something he wasn't sure he understood himself. "Detective, I spent 2 tours in Iraq watching kids barely older than this one pick up weapons and make terrible choices. Some of them we couldn't save. But when I saw that Clerk Hayes got a baby at home, he's just trying to make a living, I couldn't just watch." "So you decided to play hero?" "No, sir. I decided to do what I could with the training I had." The detective made a note. "The DA will probably want to talk to you about testifying if this goes to trial. Whatever you need." As James finally headed to his truck at 2:30 Raj stopped him in the parking lot. "Sir? Mr. James?" "Yeah?" "I don't know how to thank you. That boy. He was going to shoot me. I could see it in his eyes." "You don't need to thank me, Raj. Just take care of your family." "I will. But sir, you are a hero. I don't care what you say." James drove home through the empty desert highways, thinking about the look in Marcus Washington's eyes. Fear. Desperation. The same look he'd seen in the eyes of Iraqi teenagers who had been recruited by insurgents' kids who had made bad choices, but weren't necessarily bad kids. The next morning, James woke up to find his phone buzzing with missed calls and text messages. The security footage had been leaked to social media sometime during the night. By noon, the video had been viewed 3 million times. By evening, news crews were parked outside his house. "Mr. Kilser, Channel 7 News. Can you tell us about your military background? How did you learn to disarm someone like that? Do you consider yourself a hero?" James stood on his front porch in his work clothes, uncomfortable with the attention but understanding that he needed to address it. "My name is James Kilser. I served in the Marine Corps for 25 years. Last night, I stopped an armed robbery at a gas station. That's all." "Sir, the video shows incredible technique. Where did you learn to do that?" "The Marines taught me a lot of things. Mostly, they taught me to protect people who can't protect themselves." "What do you think should happen to the teenagers involved?" James paused, thinking about Marcus Washington lying unconscious on the store floor. "I think they're kids who made a terrible mistake. I hope they get a chance to learn from it. Are you worried about retaliation from their associates? No. Why not? Because this isn't about taking sides or making enemies. It's about doing what's right when the moment calls for it. What's the most important quality a person needs to act heroically in a crisis? Is it training, courage, or something else? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. The story continued to grow over the following weeks. The security footage was analyzed by combat experts who marveled at James's technique. News outlets interviewed him repeatedly, always asking the same questions about heroism and training. But the story took an unexpected turn when Marcus Washington's grandmother, Dorothy Washington, asked to meet with James. They met at a coffee shop in downtown Yuma, an unlikely pair, the white Marine veteran and the elderly black woman whose grandson he had put in juvenile detention. "Mr. Kilser," Dorothy said, "I want to thank you." James looked confused. "Ma'am, I'm not sure I understand. You could have hurt my grandson badly. You could have killed him, but you didn't." "Mrs. Washington, I never wanted to hurt him. I just wanted to stop him from hurting someone else." "I know. I've watched that video 100 times. You were gentle with him. Even when you were stopping him, you were gentle." Dorothy pulled out a photograph of Marcus as a young child, smiling in a school picture. "This is who he really is. He's not a criminal, Mr. Kilser. He's a scared boy who lost his father last year and started running with the wrong crowd. I'm sorry for your loss, ma'am. Marcus wants to meet with you. He's been asking about you every day since it happened. He wants to apologize." James was quiet for a long moment. "Mrs. Washington, I'll meet with him if you think it would help. But I want you to know I don't blame him for what happened. Kids make mistakes. It's what they do." The meeting was arranged through the Juvenile Detention Center. Marcus sat across from James in a small conference room, supervised by a social worker. "Mr. Kilser," Marcus said quietly, "I'm sorry for what I did." "I know you are, son. I wasn't really going to shoot anybody. I was just scared." "I know that too. How did you know I wasn't really dangerous?" James leaned forward slightly. "Marcus, can I ask you something? Why were you robbing that store?" The teenager was quiet for a long time. "My mom lost her job. We got evicted. My grandmother's trying to take care of us, but she's old and sick, I thought. I thought if I could get some money." "You thought you could help your family?" "Yeah. But I was stupid. I made everything worse." "Marcus, do you know what I do for work?" "No, sir. I build houses. It's hard work, but it's honest work. And there are programs for kids like you programs that teach construction skills, that help you get your GED, that help you support your family the right way." Marcus looked up for the first time during the conversation. "Really? Really? If you're interested, I can make some calls." What's the most powerful thing about James choosing to help Marcus instead of just walking away? What does forgiveness look like in action? Share your thoughts in the comments. 6 months later, Marcus Washington was released from juvenile detention into a work-study program that James had helped arrange. The teenager spent mornings in school and afternoons learning construction skills from a crew that included several other veterans. James made it a point to check on Marcus's progress regularly, not as a supervisor, but as someone who cared about giving a kid a second chance. "How's he doing?" Dorothy Washington asked James one afternoon when he stopped by to pick up Marcus from work. "He's got good hands for this kind of work, and he shows up every day, which is more than I can say for some adults I've worked with. He talks about you all the time. Says you're teaching him how to be a man. His grandmother's teaching him how to be a man. I'm just teaching him how to swing a hammer." But James knew it was more than that. He was teaching Marcus that mistakes don't define you. What you do after the mistakes is what matters. The viral video had led to speaking engagements, interview requests, and offers to appear on television shows. James turned down most of them, but he did agree to speak at a few veteran events and high schools. "People always ask me if I'm a hero," he would tell audiences. "But heroes don't just stop bad things from happening. Heroes help good things happen afterward." He would then tell Marcus's story, the part that didn't make it into the viral video. The part about second chances and hard work and building something positive from something that started negative. A year after the robbery, James received an unexpected package in the mail. Inside was a framed certificate and a letter from the Yuma Police Department. "Mr. Kilser," the letter read, The Yuma Police Department is proud to present you with our Civilian Commendation Award for courage and selfless service to your community. Your actions on the night of June 15th prevented serious injury or death and exemplified the highest ideals of citizenship. The certificate was signed by the Chief of Police and the Mayor of Yuma. But the real reward came later that same day, when Marcus Washington stopped by James's house after work. "Mr. Kilser, I wanted to show you something." Marcus handed him an envelope. Inside was a letter of acceptance to Arizona State University's construction management program. "I got a scholarship," Marcus said, grinning. "Full ride. They said my work experience and recommendation letters were what did it." James looked at the letter. Then at the young man standing on his doorstep, the same kid who had pointed a gun at a store clerk 14 months earlier. "I'm proud of you, Marcus." "Mr. Kilser, can I ask you something?" That night, at the gas station, why didn't you just call the police? Why did you risk your life for a stranger? James thought about the question, the same question reporters had asked him dozens of times. "Marcus, 25 years ago, the Marines taught me that we don't leave people behind. That doesn't just apply on the battlefield. It applies everywhere. But you didn't even know Mr. Raj. Son, if you only help people you know, you're not really helping people. You're just taking care of your own." Marcus nodded slowly. "Is that why you helped me? Even after what I did? I helped you because I saw what you could become. And because someone helped me once when I needed it." "Who helped you?" James smiled. "A drill instructor who saw potential in an angry kid from Phoenix who didn't think he had any options. Sometimes, all it takes is one person who believes you can be better than your worst moment." What's the most important lesson from James and Marcus's story? Is it about heroism, second chances, or something else entirely? Leave your final thoughts in the comments. 3 years later, Marcus Washington graduated from Arizona State University with a degree in construction management. He now runs a nonprofit organization that provides job training and mentorship for at-risk youth in Arizona. James Kilser still works construction, still lives in the same house, still stops at the Desert Star gas station for energy drinks after long workdays. Raj Patel now owns 2 gas stations and employs several veterans in management positions. The viral video of the robbery has been viewed over 50 million times, but James rarely thinks about it anymore. He's more interested in the videos Marcus posts on social media time-lapse footage of houses being built by young people who used to think they had no future. And every few months, James gets a letter or email from someone who saw his story and decided to take action in their own community. Veterans mentoring troubled youth, business owners hiring ex-offenders, regular people choosing to help instead of looking away. The gas station security camera captured 3 seconds of action that prevented a tragedy. But the real story took 3 years to unfold, a story about what happens when someone decides that heroism isn't about one moment of courage, but about a lifetime of caring enough to act. James Kilser never wanted to be famous. He just wanted to get home safely to his family. But in those 3 seconds at a gas station in Yuma, Arizona, he showed the world what it looks like when training meets compassion, when experience meets opportunity, and when a split-second decision creates ripples that last for years.